Are you tired of getting diarrhea from contaminated grocery store produce?
Federal health officials say shredded iceberg lettuce supplied by a California farm company is the likely source of a severe stomach bug outbreak,
causing explosive diarrhea.
Explosive diarrhea.
Explosive diarrhea.
Explosive diarrhea.
Weeks of diarrhea.
The diarrhea may come.
I've never experienced diarrhea like that before. It is very explosive.
The reason why cross-contamination is so common with fresh produce from the grocery store is because it's handled by people with dirty hands in the field, it touches dirty equipment during transit, dirty conveyor belts, and the pre-cut and pre-washed stuff is even worse because a lot of times the equipment and water they use in that pre-cut and pre-washed produce is about as clean as the water that's been sitting in this rain barrel. When you grow your own food, the only squirts that we get is when our hose is kinked. And it doesn't take a mathematician to figure out the equation that our garden plus our harvest minus cross-contamination equals no foodborne illnesses. By the way, did you hear about the constipated mathematician? He worked it out with a pencil. You know who's not getting explosive diarrhea? Most gardeners that grow their own food in their backyard because their food isn't being cross-contaminated with dirty equipment and dirty handling procedures. We are eating everything fresh and clean out of our garden. Last week, I gave you a big update for my 40th birthday, and in that video, I was telling you about all of the changes I've underwent in my life over the past year and where I would be going with things moving forward. And in that video, so many of you left so many supportive comments, and I want to say thank you to everyone who did and who watched that video and left a supportive comment. But in those comments, I was taken aback by how many of you were talking about how burnt out you were and that you were just tired and beaten down from everything going on in your life and the heat of the summer was getting to you and you were just done and tired. And I'm here to tell you, I completely understand, but that being said, quitting now would be the biggest mistake of all. I mean, haven't we learned anything by this parasite outbreak? And on today's video, I want to give back to you. Here's what happens. We spend the winter starting our seeds, we get our transplants growing in early spring, then we transplant them out into our garden come mid-spring, and everything is looking so beautiful and we can't wait for our harvests. But then what happens? Late June, early July rolls around, the kids are home from school, we take a summer vacation, the 4th of July holiday hits, and we just become distracted. Then we get a couple of heat waves and become so hot and nasty outside that we don't even want to be outside in our gardens during the heat. And the nasty heat and our lack of care leads to us losing some of our plants. And after 5-6 months of planning and effort, we just give up, quit. Or we at least adopt a negative attitude. While we may not quit entirely and we may maintain the plants that we have to some degree, our attitude is, you know what, I'll harvest everything I possibly can off of them, I'll get what I can, but I'm not going to do anything crazy, and when they die, they die. I'm burnout, I'm done. That is probably what most people do. And that is the mistake, that is the trap. We allow ourselves to get distracted by summertime activities, and then we get a few hot days and the heat and the sunshine beat us down, and we give up after 5 to 6 months of effort. We just let the heat win. But the truth is, those really hot periods for most of us are the shortest time of the year. The overwhelming majority of us deal with long stretches of cold, cloudy weather where we don't want to be outside. And these heat waves are actually fleeting in the grand scheme of things. So what we need to do is just dig our heels in and push through the next few weeks, have a vision for the future, and get something growing for the fall, because the temperatures are going to be coming down soon and the sunsets are going to be getting earlier at an alarming rate, and before we know it, it's going to be getting dark at 5 p.m. and we're starting to get seasonal depression. It happens in a blink. So you may feel burnt out right now, and I understand if you do, but the truth is you will deeply regret not making some preparations now when the fall comes and you have no garden to tend to and you're just stuck inside in the cold, dark weather. So I want to give you 2 different things that I think you can do now with absolute minimal effort to try and help prevent those things from happening in the fall like they always do. And the first thing is to just go outside and direct seed yourself a couple of zucchini and cucumber plants, because your soil is very warm right now and these plants grow like weeds. The beautiful cucumber plants that I once had growing along my fence are long dead. But cucumber plants grow like weeds. I transplanted these cucumber plants right here only about 2 weeks ago, and they have quadrupled in size. They grow so quickly, and while I started mine indoors, you don't need to. This time of year, you can just direct sow them, just keep the area moist, and the seeds will come up. Cucumbers fruit so quickly that after only about 2 to 3 weeks after transplant, I'm already getting fruits on them. And while much of my main garden has been pretty beaten up, and my initial zucchini plants are pretty much dead, I have a secondary bed of peppers and eggplants and zucchini right here because they actually all produce their fruits relatively quickly. Now, if you don't have any pepper or eggplant transplants, it's probably too late for you at this point, but it is not too late to start new zucchini plants. These zucchini transplants were put in 2 weeks ago, not even 2 weeks ago, and less than 3 weeks ago. And look how big and beautiful they are. If you direct sow zucchini seed in your garden right now, you will have plants probably larger than this in about 25 to 30 days, and they will likely be producing mature fruit for you in only about 50 days. They grow like wildfire. I even just planted some small bush butternut squash. If you've never grown cucumbers, zucchini, and other squashes in the back half of summer into the fall, it will be a revelation for you because the pest pressure is going down. The generation of cucumber beetles is pretty much gone by now. The squash vine borer generation is pretty much gone by now. So you generally don't have to worry about these pests later into the summer and the fall because they have since moved on. They've completed their life cycle where they are a problem for those plants. So you can grow them in a relatively low pest environment while still getting huge harvests because they produce so quickly. If you're enjoying this video from a real-life human being and not AI, would you please consider subscribing to the channel, hitting the like button, and leaving a comment? YouTube changed their algorithm this year to promote shorts a lot more than long-format content, so it's been really hard for us long-form creators to find new audiences, and interacting with the video like that goes miles to help spread it across the platform. If you could do those things, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support. The second thing I want you to do is to sit down and just start some seeds for a fall garden. Start some brassicas, start some romaine lettuce. Just start something that is frost and freeze hardy that you can grow into the fall. This is the pushback that I got from the most people. The most people are so burnt out and so tired, they just don't feel like starting crops for their fall garden. But I'm telling you right now, once the sunsets start getting really early, you're going to wish that you were outside enjoying the beautiful fall weather, and you're going to wish that you have something growing. You don't have to grow a lot of things, you only have to grow a few things just to keep yourself entertained and in a good space and doing what you love. You can do this whole process in 15-20 minutes. All I want you to do is to spend about 15 to 20 minutes sowing some seeds indoors and make it a really enjoyable process. Turn on a podcast, turn on a TV show, grab a cup of coffee if it's the morning, grab a beer or a glass of wine if it's the evening, and just spend 20 minutes of me time in whatever state you want to be in, relax and sow some seeds. I'm going to show you just how easy and relaxing this whole process can be. I filled these little seed starting trays with a basic off-the-shelf potting mix that I bought for $6 at the big box store, made for starting seeds indoors. Then I'm taking my chopstick and I'm making little 1/4-inch holes to sow the seeds. And I'm going to sow a red lettuce, a green lettuce, both romaine types, and also collards right now. So I'm going to use a process called overseeding, which puts 2 to 3 seeds per seed cell to account for the fact that seeds don't have 100% germination. So I'm going to start off with the red romaine, putting about 3 seeds per individual little seed cell. Then I'm going to take them and lightly press them down. And just like that, we sowed 4 heads of lettuce. And now we're going to do the green romaine. We're going to put about 3 seeds or so per individual seed cell. I may have accidentally put a few extra there. It's no big deal. We can always thin them later if we get germination where we have more than one plant try to grow in the same cell. There we go. We just sowed another 4 heads of lettuce. And then we are going to do our collard seeds. And I'm going to drop about 2 collard seeds per seed cell, just to help guarantee that something comes up. And then I'm going to press them down and lightly cover them up. And just like that, in what, a whole whopping 2 minutes, I just sowed 12 plants. It really is that simple and relaxing. It's very therapeutic. Now I'm going to take my indoor watering can and I'm going to very lightly drizzle a little bit of water on top to help the seed starting mix compact and also to water them in. Usually the first little bit of water that you put in doesn't absorb readily, so we're going to let that sit for about a minute, and then after it absorbs, we'll come back with another pass or two until they're all watered in completely. And then I'm going to take all the seeds that I just sowed and I'm going to put them next to the brassicas and lettuces that I sowed last week. I made a video where I showed you how to do that in great detail. And they are going to go underneath my grow lights for germination. Now, while they are on a seedling heat mat, this seedling heat mat is not currently on because these are cooler season crops and they like to germinate at temperatures between 70 and 80 degrees. So because we're in the warm season, the house is pretty warm, there's no need to turn that seedling heat mat on. I'm getting absolutely incredible germination on my brassicas. I have all types of incredible stuff here: broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, romanesco, kale. If you want to learn how to sow all of these things, I'll link to a video both above and down in the video description where I showed you how to do this in greater detail. And if you're new to this whole seed starting thing, I'll place direct links down in the video description for all of my favorite seed starting equipment, some of my favorite seeds to start in fall, and I'll also place a link that'll show you how to build a cheap little grow light stand like I have here. For some reason, Dale is hiding under my desk. Do you want a treat, buddy? See if I can lure him out. Say hi to everybody. Buddy. He's a good egg. But whether you decide to start seeds this year for a fall garden or not, there are two things I want you to do to your garden during this off season that will radically change how you garden forever. These little construction projects will be easy for you to do. You'll get tons of joy and fulfillment out of it. You'll be able to spend time outside during the nice fall weather, and it will transform your garden next year into the best garden you have ever grown. The first thing I want you to do this off season is to dedicate time to install drip irrigation in as many places as possible in your garden. This is the biggest time and money saver there is. Not having to have the chore of irrigating your garden will radically transform it because you can just automate it so the garden waters itself with a faucet timer, or you just go outside and you turn a spigot and it will automatically irrigate everything, and you won't have to roast in the sun trying to keep your garden alive ever again. I have made so many tutorials over the years on how to do this. I'll link to a video both above and down in the video description that will show you how to install drip irrigation in your raised garden beds in minutes. The next project should be to install some steel cables overhead in your garden with the purpose and intent of installing shade cloth later in the summer next year when it starts getting hot, probably at some point in June. The reason why we don't want to be outside in our gardens this time of year and everything dies is because it's just too hot. But you know what? If you can install shade cloth like I have here, and you can just walk underneath it and garden underneath it, not only will your garden perform so much better, but you will be happy to be out in your garden because you yourself can garden underneath the protection of shade cloth. I just made a tutorial on how to do this. It only takes a few minutes to install these shade cloths once you have the steel cables up. So I'll link to that video both above and down in the video description as well. The way we truly have success in gardening is by adopting a perennial mindset, like you would with a fruit tree. When we plant a fruit tree, we understand that first year, maybe even the first 2 or 3 years, we're not really going to get many harvests off of that fruit tree. But every single year, the tree grows larger and larger, and it gives us more and more fruit. So the tree itself, perennials themselves, are an investment. But we have to look at our gardens as the same way. While the crops that we grow in our gardens may be annuals and they only last for part of a year, the actual garden itself is a perennial system. that we are going to be gardening in for many, many years to come, maybe even the rest of our lives. So we need to adopt an investment-like perennial mindset into that system so we can make the work easier for us year after year. The reason why it becomes so hard for us to maintain our gardens once it gets really hot out is the weather starts working against us. But if we put systems in place like drip irrigation to automate the irrigating process, we attach a fertigator to it so we can push the fertilizer through the irrigation system. We put shade cloth overhead. We put weed barrier in the aisles of our gardens. Well, we can eliminate the weeding, the fertilizing, the irrigating. We can garden in the coolness of shade, which will not only stress our plants less, but stress us a lot less as well. And before we know it, we will be picking buckets a day, and we will be happy to be outside because we are working in a shadier, cooler environment with less things that we have to do on a day-to-day basis. It's been a very dry summer so far this year, but we're supposed to get 4 days of intermittent tropical downpours from this tropical storm in the Gulf. And I'm picking every single fig I can before the rain ruins them. This should be enough for my first couple pints of fig jam. So if you're feeling burnt out, tired, and overwhelmed, I understand. I've been there dozens of times before myself. However, the solution is not to quit. That is the worst thing you can do, because the fact of the matter is, if you give up now and throw in the towel once the beautiful fall weather rolls around and the sunsets start coming early, you'll really want to be outside and you'll wish that you had something growing in your garden. You don't have to go crazy, you just have to do a little bit. Spend 20 minutes sowing some seeds indoors so you don't have to brave the outdoor temperatures. Plant a couple of things directly, like your cucumbers and zucchini right now, in a matter of 5 minutes, and then another few weeks from now, just direct sow some carrots, some beets, and some radishes. It won't take you more than 5 minutes at a clip. That is all it takes to have something beautiful waiting for you in a few months. And if you really want to be a hero this late fall, early winter, take on a few construction projects, hang some overhead cables, put in some drip irrigation, prepare to have shade cloth up in your garden next summer. And I'm telling you, that will transform your garden forever so you never get truly burnt out again. Your garden will be a hero moving forward. So everybody, I sure hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you're notified when I release more videos like these. I place direct links down in the video description to my favorite products that I featured in this video, my favorite seeds to start this time of the year, as well as the reference videos for all of the different construction type activities that I've referenced. For everything else I use in real life in my yard and garden, that is linked in my Amazon storefront link. And while you're down there, check out my website, themillennialgardener.com, for all things gardening and custom home design merch if you want to support my channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see all of you again on the next video.
Look at this little babushka. Have you ever seen such a thing? I want to start life again as a Dale.